Hey everybody, Eric4 President here. Today we have a ton of stories. They go over almost every single headset out there, so use the chapter sliders if there's some stories you'd like to hear more. But our first one deals with a topic that never ends. Minecraft coming to the Oculus Quest and new speculation out there, but unfortunately I don't think this is the news you were looking for. And that's because in October of this year, Minecraft will officially be discontinued for Gear VR, and when one thing falls, people want another to rise. And to many, and I've seen a lot talk about that maybe it's a sign that it's coming to the Oculus Quest soon. Unfortunately, Minecraft is a game that is still very actively developed, and with active development comes a lot of updates that will be required to keep things running well. Oculus, we know later this year, is shutting down application updates for the Go and Gear VR, so this was pretty much a done deal regardless if Minecraft wanted to or not. I'm not saying Minecraft is never coming to the Oculus Quest, but I am saying that I don't think this news is the news you were looking for, but let me know your thoughts. Moving on, a few small updates that we found out from Volga, a graphics coder over at Oculus that involved both the Oculus Link and, wait for it, the Oculus Rift S. I actually have good news for Oculus Rift S users today. The first of his updates are around the Oculus Link and their work with NVIDIA to better help and optimize their encoder's visual fidelity for high bit rates, so make sure you update your drivers to 451.48. Please take note that at this time, this is only for the latest generation of RTX NVIDIA cards. But for those who are able to update, you should see much better performance with the Oculus Link as well as Virtual Desktop, and I noticed this most when I tried darker scenes. They were much cleaner, more crisp. The second update from Volga is finally, yes, some good news for the Oculus Rift S. I got you guys. I know it should be the standard that each new Oculus Rift update should not hurt your experience, and I know it happens often to many Rift S users. Trust me, I feel your pain, especially when I try to use my Rift S and get so many USB and DisplayPort issues after each update. You may have a new issue after the recent update where controller tracking got borderline useless on the Oculus Rift S, which seems to have happened to many, not all, but enough people, so make sure to update to version 19 in the public test channel, which should take care of this problem now according to Volga. A super quick refresher, open the PC app, go to your settings, beta tab, and hit that public test channel and you're good to go. Two small updates, but they both have a little bit of an impact, and I'm glad that there are some fixes coming for Oculus Rift S users. You should not have problems after every update, I understand that, but I'm glad to see at least this problem is fixed. Also, let's touch base on some sad news, some disappointing news, things that people really wish were going to happen, but that deals with Mind Control Delete, the new sequel for SuperHot that is getting launched and will not have VR support. Straight from their frequently asked questions page, we don't have any plans at the moment to recreate the Mind Control Delete experience for VR. It's important to remember that VR is not only a different platform, it's an entirely different way of interacting with games, and it comes with its own design and hardware challenges. SuperHot VR was created from scratch as an entirely separate game to emulate the SuperHot experiences in VR, and it was a big undertaking. We aren't starting any big undertakings right now. Should this change, we'll let you guys know. SuperHot is around the second to third largest game in VR when it comes to daily users and active play, although I do know that changes daily, and yes, it's disappointing, but it makes sense, especially considering the last story we'll cover today. While it is a top VR game, it's still in the VR bubble, and no matter how much success it has in VR, it has and will have more success in flat or traditional gaming. Time can be one of the most precious resources out there, and if the developers walked away from VR to focus on anything else for traditional gaming, I can't blame them for choosing to use their resources more economically. VR is not dead. This is not a doomsday scenario, and it's not a sign that VR is dying. We are all early adopters, and we enjoy VR because we see the potential it has to change the world and provide a lot of good. But it's going to take a lot of time before game devs are eager to jump on the train, and that's what this really is. They just need to use their time, their money, everything wisely. Today's main stories, though, we focus on the future of VR and what really matters, and the first of the two is SteamVR's newest update that brings OpenXR support. This is big. OpenXR is probably something you don't hear much about, but for the future of VR, and especially developers, this is a huge deal. Unfortunately for developers, targeting multiple VR platforms takes a tremendous amount of time, energy, and money to build polished and great SDKs. Steam is trying to make this easier though by moving forward from their OpenXR API. What does this mean for the user? Well, not as much right away as for the developers behind your favorite games, but in a nutshell, once every VR developer has adopted OpenXR, you, the user, will never have to wonder or worry if a new game works on SteamVR or not. Every game will work with not only any headset out there, but any future headset as well. This won't limit graphics or anything like that, so PC VR users will not expect same Quest level fidelity on their headsets, just a standardized way for games to communicate with every VR hardware out there, promising things like better sustained frame rates and better stability. I personally cannot even imagine what it takes between time, money, effort, and everything to put together a game for VR that works on every single headset currently without the OpenXR standard. It is an effort of futility that they do, but that's why sometimes we have staggered releases. It's just a lot of work to do, and this new standard makes it easier for us to all play our favorite games on any headset out there and any headset coming. Let me know your thoughts. And finally, some insight from someone's opinion who I value very highly, and this all stemmed from a Reddit AMA where the community was asking questions about the new documentary, The Final Hours of Half-Life Alyx. Mike from Virtual Reality Oasis asked Jeff Keighley about the future of VR, and I have to agree highly, and instead of paraphrasing here, here is the entirety of the clip.
What's my personal take on the future of VR? It's a good question. I think I really like VR. I don't think it's ever going to replace traditional games, but Alyx is one of the best games I played this year, and I really loved it in VR. I think the challenge right now is how do you square the install base of VR with the cost of building these games? Because something like Alyx is extraordinarily expensive to do compared to a traditional game. It's just much more potential audience that could buy a traditional game. So I think VR is going to continue to grow. I think the headsets are going to get way lighter and less tethering. Like Oculus Quest, I love my Oculus Quest. I was actually just doing a thing yesterday where there's doing these I think it's called The Tempest. They're doing like a live performance by actors in this virtual world in Quest. So I was downloading that yesterday. Quest, I'm blown away with. I love that it's like all in one, contained, and like Beat Saber on that is like almost as good as any other platform. So I think VR, once it gets to the point where it's kind of all in one and you can just kind of pop on the headset, even no controllers at some point, and just kind of start interacting, I think it's going to, there's definitely something there, and it's going to continue to grow. But, right now, especially with like the lighthouses and all that, like it's a lot you have to set up, but it's only going to get better. And the thing is, a game like Alyx, 3 or 5 years from now, people are still going to be playing it for the first time and experiencing it, which is pretty cool.
I don't think there's much controversial content from that clip. I think lighter, cheaper, more fashion-forward, smaller, and all-in-one, easier-to-use headsets are a necessity for mass adoption. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I also don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that traditional gaming will never go away and VR gaming isn't meant to take it away. That's completely true. I think it actually would be pretty sad if traditional gaming ever disappeared, because it does provide things VR can't, and VR provides things that can't. They both work with each other, they're not competition. But that's going to be it for today's video. Let me know what you think. Please leave a like to support the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, that way you don't miss an update or upload, because notifications don't always go out. And as always, I'll see you on the next one, Space Cowboys.